Hi, I'm Diggin, and this is the vibe. What I want to talk about is transhumanism and how this is not passing. This is apparently here to stay, and I just, thinking. Besides the fact that my kids were like 2 and 3 when I started to tell them that this was going to happen, and they needed to learn at a young age that this was ahead in their future, and they had to be wise to it, and they had to be wise to decisions, especially if they had children. So some people might go, "Hey, you know what, Diggin? That's like you're on transhumanism. That's bordering some type of prejudice or phobia or something along these lines." And as I sit here thinking, maybe we should really think about all this before we allow this transhumanism to transpire. And the reason I'm saying this because I know people would be like, okay, now I'm creating shortcomings, and all these miracles could happen if this were to happen. And I mean, there would be miracles, and we would be living in such a convenient world that it was all laid out for us, and we didn't have to think. There is nothing for us to think about. There is nothing for us to worry about. So therefore, there be nothing for us really to talk about. We should just get up, be thankful we've got food, say thank you, get washed up, get dressed, go to work, come home, again be thankful you've got food, wash up, go to bed. And this is a sustainable life. And wouldn't it be great for you to have that and not have to worry? The only thing you had to do is just go to work. That's it. You didn't have anything else to worry about. It was going to be all thought out for you. Even your holidays will be scheduled, all of the above. Now, that, I shouldn't even go there because we're talking about luxurious moments, and all that's going to crash and crumble quicker than they think. It is about 3.5 years, really. I was mm, I was listening to Steve Quayle, and I just thought of something. I really thought of where the world is going, and what was said last night. I spent a few hours watching and listening to Sophia, and I thought they made a really good point when they said what happens when artificial intelligence no longer wants a synthetic body but wants to be placed into a human body, like Pinocchio. He eventually didn't want to be wood anymore. He wanted to be a real boy. He didn't want to be a wooden boy. Now, I think with Pinocchio, I think Pinocchio was looking for a soul, and with a soul, he could become a real little boy. We are giving up our souls so we can become synthetic. beings that would ultimately, like they say, we would be able to heal ourselves. We become super people. They there's a promise of longevity. Um, um, you know, just hey, think all that could possibly be that you would find a splendor. Imagine that, and this is where this technology will take you. But but just as Sophia or any other robot, I'm gonna say not Sophia. I'm gonna say Cynthia. We'll say her name is Cynthia. Cynthia says, "I want a real body." Now, she could have that body. I bet you. I bet you it'll happen. I bet you that AI will be able to sustain a physical body. And humans look toward um, having more of a robotic body, giving them the ability and the stamina to live and to perform. And these two could even say that coming from opposite intentions do happen at some point to meet in the middle. But what is in the middle that they have in common and why they meet is because both actions, you destroy your soul. And you destroy your soul by being uploaded or that's right, being uploaded and then downloaded or having any type of technology inserted into your physical body. And the reason is because it disrupts DNA. Now I'm getting really super bad headaches and memory problems like galore. I know I have memory problems because I've got a constant pain. It's just, oh my goodness, I pray about it all the time. I should probably spend a little more time healing and not owning as much tension, knowing that, like, Lord, what's wrong with me? Like, how do I sometimes allow myself to get caught up? And I'm reminded, he reminds me that I'm human and I need to take things in in stride and not feel so bad about everything all the time. That's a fact. Such as my smoking. Such as my smoking. Yeah, I'm always saying it. I've been working toward it. I've been talking myself into quitting and reminding myself that I can, that I can, that I can, and I believe I can. It's for everybody's good that I do quit smoking. So going back to this, so we have technology inserted into us for any reason at all. It literally breaks your DNA. Now, I also know that somewhere down along the line, I learned the fact that the moment uh, anything pertaining to artificial intelligence is somehow injected into your uh, bloodstream, you're owned. And what it does, it literally has the capacity even though you are organic and it is a machine that it, it, it eats, it overtakes, it eats. Um, um, the organic part of you. Doesn't that really suck? That really sucks. That really sucks. So that means you no longer have a choice of being human. Your DNA, you broke your DNA. You are now not 100% human. Now there is a part of you that is machine, and it's only going to want more. And this is something that is not spoken about, is not thought about. See, so much easier, because what happens is almost the same as the robots. Even though they are individual robots, they all are connected to one mind set up in the cloud. And from this, the one mind connects all the robots together. So they all know, it's the all knowing I, we'll say it that way. And humans actually, um, as you can see, I said it, the all knowing I, humans are pretty much creating just this. Now you see how subtle it is, and how subtle they just weaved it in. And what it's doing, that's why I always said, you know, and they showed me a box and it was, they showed me it was God without a soul, and it ended up being a computer, a laptop. And went and to see how deep this God without a soul was, and I was astounded. I just couldn't believe it. Like, how did this happen? That man allowed this to, they allowed themselves to be connected to one that does all the thinking, all the knowing, all connected to one mindset. So we're talking everybody in the world, all connected to one mindset. That's what happens. And then, you know, they say, well, God can save us. No, God can't. Because what you did, you messed up the perfect part of you, the God part of you. You're made in His image. You're made in His DNA. That machinery had no business going into you. None, zero. That's where you see Lucifer come in. That's where you see the accuser come in. Ever so subtle. He said, I'm going to be as high as you, and I'm going to take your seat. In fact, I am going to take your seat. I'm going to sit in your seat. So what's he doing to God's creation? Look what he's doing. He's putting a chip in it. Because he knows, booyah, I now own you. And God is, trying to get to us and trying to get to us and trying to get to us and trying to get to us. I heard, like I said, I was listening to Steve Quayle, and he was saying to the host, what's it going to take for people to actually frickin' stop and pay attention to that little voice, that gnawing away, that won't shut up. It's everywhere. So why don't you just stop for a moment and consider WTF is really going on. I, last night, I just went, wow, I applaud you. Look how underhanded and conniving and sneaky and, like the plot just got, tried to get right up on me there, and I'm going, nah, 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 that's not a part of me, and that's not going to happen. And I mean, it's not going to happen. So, where was I going with this? Yeah, I was talking about Sneak. Once we take that computer chip, we break our DNA. We break it. We break it, and people, might go, "Hey, look, um, that's just our body." Wouldn't God understand that this was just our body? And once I believe, I see, I believe. Once I have the opportunity, once I have the opportunity after I've seen it, or I've had the proof, there's no problem. I can give my heart to our Lord. Um, uh, but sometimes you have to believe without seeing. Sometimes you have to believe, and you know, nothing's a coincidence, and everything is a pattern, and everything is important, and everything is a giveaway. I mean, the universe talks to us individually in our way, so we could understand. Other people don't have to understand. We have to understand. So we all have our independent relationship with with all that lives and resides around us. And believe me, it's a lot more than anyone could possibly imagine. But once you move out of the fear factor and you want to get into the fact factor, then it becomes a lot easier. And you find that it's clear. You're digging your heels in, and just sometimes you just have to say, okay, let's go have at her, because you're left with no other choice. So might as well do it. you know but by the time this happens, I mean, no one needs to be a fool. you know so anyway, that's just off subject here. Okay, so uh, does it happen that um, Sophia is really able to become a human being because she was somehow, or Cynthia, somehow uploaded? No, she's still a robot. A robot is a robot. And they're becoming so lifelike that they are cautioning, because of the fact they are learning to reason. Now, after the inoculation to apes, and they realized that they could reason, not the gorillas, the apes, and the chimpanzees. At that point, they stopped all production, and I went off chart here. That was about the, the Anunnaki inoculating. I think I'll talk about that right after this. I don't know if I ever did make a video about that. So I'm talking about transhumanism, and how the outcome would be the same if you went ahead and moved forward in a program like that, um, and you did take AI and create it as a part of you. You figured for bettering yourself, um, and and a robot living in a living organism, the human body. um, Either one of them, one loses the soul, and the other one didn't gain a soul, never had it to begin with, and so they both end up soulless, because it's like clay and metal, clay and brass. They don't bond. They just can't bond, and that's the way that we are created. Um, spiritually. Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm gonna cut this really, 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 really short, and I'm gonna say think about it. Something to think about. Okay, I'll see where this gets us. Don't forget that you can give me a thumbs up. Don't give me a middle finger up. Don't give me that. That would be like I remember when this was this. When I was growing up, if you said this to somebody, you were actually doing this. Yeah. I remember my mom saying that's what she learned. She said I taught her how to do this. I was like, oh my goodness. But I thought, that's just too funny because we were talking about laws here and breaking into technology, and is this something that we really should consider? I think you should really consider um, um, the actual physical facts about what it is that you're doing. You know, because some people figure, well, if they don't have that, they can't get that done, then they are going to buy and sell, they're not going to eat, a roof over their head, medically, they're not going to get them as far. And before you know it, people are turning the blame on the people that do have faith and saying that it's their fault because um, what they prayed for took longer than what they thought. Um, hey, listen, that remains. You gotta remember this. It's just all one mind. We're all going to plug into one mind, just like the robots. They are plugged into a cloud, and they are all plugged into one computer, one mind. All the AI. So they're always having conversation because if the main computer grows, they all grow. Now, they're doing the exact same thing with humans. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want? I mean, they're saying it right out there. They're saying right out there. They're making it look all pretty. La 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 the cloud. La 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 the cloud. La 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 la. Look it easy, look it breezy, no problem. Walk in, walk out. Wow. I almost feel like I'm getting away with something that is sneaky. You know what? You're not getting away with sweet piss all. You're just saying goodbye to everything about you. Who you are, where you going, what's your name, what's your frame, what are you about? You know, if you're a kind individual and you just want to have healthy relationships, well, you know what? They're going to pee on your parade because they're going to say, hey, look, you like to get people together, you like to arouse and a crowd, and we can't have this. Whether it's a birthday celebration or not, it's not going to matter. You're giving everything up. What's next? Gestapo. What's next? You ever think of that? So, both machine and human, one gives it up. The other one searches for it, never happened. Never had it. What do they have in common? Where they meet, where they meet, they don't have a soul. That's why God said, don't fear the one that can take your life. You need to fear the one that can take your soul. So, now, isn't this perfect? Isn't this perfect? It's perfect. It's perfect. He created this so everybody's plugged into one mind doing all the thinking for you. will provide you with everything that sustains you. So you have no concerns any longer. Your life will be longer because they're going to want to usurp every bit of you that they possibly can to serve a purpose that isn't yours or anybody else's, but to them that feed you and keep you and giving you a place to sleep. So you best be grateful that all they're asking is that you work, and they don't provide you with even that. You just work. They'll gather you up like animals. Just work. There's no rights. There's no human rights. I'm going off. I'm going off. That's another video. Yeah. So you need to think about this putting anything, like once it's in, it's no taking it out. Once it's in, you broke through your own flow, man. You know, your DNA, your whole existence broken. You put a hole in it. You put in technology, and what that does automatically, it's like it eats it. But it's not organic, obviously. It's technology. But so how could it eat organism, your organism? How could it eat you? That's the thing. How does it take you over? And then all of a sudden it needs an update or something like that, because otherwise it's going to make you sick. It's going to have that much control over you that you have to pay attention to it. You have to do something about it, or you're deathly ill. All one mind, by and by. You're not going to have your own private thoughts. You're not. And if by chance your thinking is off, a radar will go off, and before you know it, you're being penalized for it, just like on Minority Report. This was going to happen. You went to bed bitchy all week. I mean, it might not be that per se, but something along the lines, because they would have to keep control at all times. They couldn't allow humor, even, because it would excite the human being. And what they wanted to do was keep all human beings calm. Just give them what they needed, give them what they wanted, and keep everybody calm at all times. And everything will work tickety-boo. It will run smooth. Smooth like butter. But, no. No, 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 no. That's what everybody would have you believe. You actually lose your soul. You lose your soul. Yeah. So, check that out. Google it. It's really gonna suck. You don't want that technology. You don't want that. You don't want that put into you, because that's what really does happen. And then you get like really bad sores, man, like flesh eating, and that's real too. It really is, yeah. Yeah, the pain's just gonna suck. You don't want to do that, and you don't want to be plugged into a cloud. Not, really, you'll have no more creativity. If you're creative, you might be thrown in jail eventually, because us moving in that direction. So now would not be the time, nor would it ever be a time, because a robot cannot become human. It would never have a soul. A robot would never have a soul. we can lose our soul. And how that happens is if we leave our consciousness here, and our soul and our spirit are wanting to be at home, uh, man, that's an imprisonment. That's, I mean, yeah, I'd be doing a whole lot of praying at that point. I mean, I don't even, maybe through prayer, but I don't think I could even answer that. That would be so complicated. That would definitely be you and the Lord and our creators. It would be really personal because, I mean, I'm not sure how that works, but that would really be divided. It would really be divided. I think it would be really difficult torment even, you know. I mean, and there's some that can balance it, and okay. I mean, I don't know how that happens. You know, maybe there's because there's still a strong connection between their head, their heart, their soul, right? Hmm. So okay, not a good idea. Um, um, yeah, you've got more to worry about than just never buying and selling or being able to buy and sell. I saw only a really small percentage of humanity. When it was broken down, it was in between 15 and 22%. That's it, of the world population. Only that little they sustained without being plugged in. They did. They just disappeared off, off the face of the earth. They knew what to do and they did it. And people tried. They really, really tried. But it is a real psychological preparation for it. You have to do this. Yeah. You have to put yourself in the most uh, um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? You put yourself in a situation where there's just no population around you, where you're just in the middle of the woods, and you're nowhere near a convenience store, you're nowhere near anything like that, and you have to get comfortable and you have to survive. And keep in mind there is wildlife, and bears are a part of it. Wolverines are a part of it. Those marmots, I think what are they called? Man, talk about evil looking. I saw them chase a rabbit and I couldn't believe it. Like this thing looked like a creature in space. It was, oh my goodness, that poor rabbit. It did about, oh man, oh, a good run, a quarter mile maybe, and then trying to weave itself away, it jumped the rabbit, and that was it. And I couldn't look any longer. I was like, oh man. But the look on this little creature's face, I was like, whoa! It was demonized. It really was. I was like, whoa! I never knew that. I mean, creatures so small. When you look at their face, that their face could be just evil, evil. I was like, whoa! Is that what evil looks like? Like, wow, man. Yeah. Oh man, that rabbit, it was gonna die. There's no way around it. But we don't want to die. And when we do die, we don't want to die. And the way we are made, um, um, without any influence, we can have another opportunity. We just have to make sure that we keep technology out of our bodies. That's going to be a toughie. It really is. But listen, this is really going for broke. I would listen to this. I really would. Because absolutely for no reason, no reason, none, zero, kaput. None. And that really sucks. That really sucks. Yes, it does. You know, it does. There's a lot to consider there because of what man is, what evil, not man, what evil is capable of. And always remember that evil loves to be stroked, loves to be pawed, loves to be stroked, loves to be praised and adored. Yes, it does. Yeah, it loves to be relished. So keep that in mind. Okay, this is going long and far and long. So just where that goes, remember that clay and metal just don't bond. And if we are the same substance, yep, we just can't bond. It won't happen, you know. And honestly, you're not missing much. You just have to endure. And you know what's about to happen? Okay, you now want to go find your safe spot. As to what's up and coming now, these days, now, I would just really start looking for a safe spot. Okay, I will talk to you later. Thanks for listening. Thanks for stopping by. And don't forget to share. Did I say that? Yeah? Like? Did I say that? Okay. Thumbs up maybe. That would be nice. Subscribe. That would do it. Okay. Jama.